This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I am Tyler, your host, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow, and with me is the master of the universe himself, the Superman of Red, the amazing James Cole, the Man of Steel himself.
Hey, what's up, Tyler?
One day I'm just going to write a whole page of introductions for you.
You don't already have it? I thought you had like a running notebook.
I should. I'd probably be like, the one, the only man to challenge Bucky to a mascot contest, James Cole. Oh. Everyone's like, what? I don't get it. Yeah, it's okay. But, oh, man, how you doing? How was your day? It's nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good. It's been a good day.
Good.
You know,
good.
it's always nice for Friday to be a good day.
Well, we got some cool news, up top, a couple interesting topics to discuss. So we're going to dive in for all those listening. Here we go. First of all, DC Studios' upcoming Superman film, Man of Tomorrow, continues to build hype. The Daily Planet scenes are currently being filmed. A major Atlanta shoot next month will feature a lot of extras and may reveal Blue Beetle's appearance. Ooh. Alongside Lex Luthor and Brainiac, another mystery villain is reported part of the story. Early reports say the sets surpassed those of Superman, raising expectations for the film's scale. Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. They had some pretty cool looking sets for the most part in Superman.
We gotta find those DC Direct red and blue figures, because they've also McFarlane has released a double pack of electric red and blue Superman, just like the random thing ever, because all it is the same figure, just painted red and painted blue. But you know what?
I know, and I have a blue. I need a red.
Yeah, I know you do. We need one together. Then we need to take the heads off and have made heads of ourselves. And like, this is the James Cole figure.
Right.
The James Cole figure probably sell out. Like, you'd be the figure that everyone has, and mine's the one you find like in the discount bin. I'm like, dang it. I'm like,
who's got a 3D printer?
Yes. But this is exciting
It's
news.
the merch store.
The Brick News, which is all Lego news. Lego Daily Planet is coming in 2027. And so is a full crypto Lego set. And that's super exciting because I would love to have a nice new Daily Planet Lego set. I would also like, here's one for you, Lego. The Fortress of Solitude. Just going to throw that out there.
That would be a pretty wild Lego set.
I want the $300 Arkham set. Okay? I'm not even I was never a Lego person. I never wanted Legos as a kid. But as an adult, I find Legos kind of relaxing to sit and put together.
Okay. I never wanted Legos as a kid. I built little walls and houses and things like that, but never like a big old setup. I didn't have Legos myself. I literally played with them at like my grandparents' house. All of these sets and stuff, put them together. I'll freaking build like whatever that is, that 6,000 Minas Tirith or something if I wanted. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, next year we're gonna buy this, and you're either gonna come to my house or I'll come to your house, and we're just gonna sit and tell our women that we're putting together a Lego set.
Yeah, we're putting together the Daily Planet Lego set.
Yeah, just like Spider-Man and Ned. They built the Death Star. We're building the Daily Planet.
Yes, sir.
Me and James, we're just going to sit and build Legos together, Solomon.
That's awesome.
Yes.
You guys go ahead.
So
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
have to record it, do like a time lapse, like
yeah, they're like
the Legos building all the way up,
and you literally see your beard growing, and they're like, "How long did this take them?"
Right?
Like, guys, look, we're old, we're busy, couldn't do it as fast as we wanted to. Took us 3 years.
Right?
It took us as long as it does to record the Supernatural report. But no, I'm excited for the idea of Superman. I bought for Christmas. I got Sayla the Wednesday Addams Lego set. So
that was really cool.
Solomon got some.
I know me and Sailor are still building that, but yeah, I got some cool stuff like I know it's like a Superman thing, but last Christmas I got a Superman Lex Luthor Lego set.
Yeah, I did.
Really cool.
Yeah, I just sent you, James, the link for the Batman Lego set that I want. Yeah, it's and I say $300. You're like, oh, that's crazy. No, if you go to the Lego store, I literally cussed out loud in front of a kid because there was like a $800 and some Millennium Falcon Lego set, and I was like, and I actually apologized because I was like, that's like a house payment. Come on, like
I know, right?
I'm like, who can build that? And, like,
exactly.
be happy?
Oh, nice. I like that Arkham set though. That is fun.
Like Star Wars fan who like has watched like the Christmas special and like knows everything about Star Wars.
Yes.
Best.
So let's say the Critics' Choice Awards just happened, and David Cornsweet won Best Actor in a Superhero Movie for his performance as Superman. And Millie Alcock won Best Actress in a Superhero Movie for her performance in Supergirl. And I've said the whole time, Millie's not the problem with that movie. I think the movie just didn't do anything really new, but I still enjoy it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't get the digital, but that's I'm getting the physical when that comes out. So
yeah, I've pre-ordered the physical and everything already for that. So here's some cool news. I'm gonna give a shout out here to a new friend. She's really rad. She knows who she is. I'm just gonna say first name Casey here. Hope she's listening. But as I have talked about many times, how James and I randomly met on the internet and then realized we're in the same state. I was just browsing, looking for something for Sayla on Facebook Marketplace, and I saw this like Superman stuff for sale, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool!" And I ended up buying a like tote full of Superman stuff. And when I met her, and she was just selling it, and then we started talking, and she found out she's an awesome mega fan. Okay, like because I had on a shirt, I had a Superman shirt on. Of course, I did. What else do I wear? And you could see my tattoo. And then she has a tattoo of Superman.
Like you don't own anything else, just about.
That's how it feels. That's how people tell me too. But she has a Superman tattoo also. And the thing is, like, she's a mega fan because she said she kept some stuff, like her comics and everything, and she just had to get rid of some things and clear some space. And I was just like, whoa. You know, it's like finding a mega awesome fan that's like in your same area is ridiculously awesome and cool. I hope to have her on the podcast and everything and just talk about her fandom. And it's been great. Her favorite Lois Lane is Erica. Can't argue with that and everything. And I don't want to say too many things because I would love to have her on to chat, but just giving her a special shout out for being a really cool new fan and member of our online community here on Facebook and stuff. So
awesome. That is great to hear.
I'm just gonna have her come on and talk, James,
somebody
and
so close
and replace you. We need.
Oh, okay, right. Somebody who's close.
Yeah,
you can record in the same room and.
Nah, there's no replacing James. He's too rad.
I appreciate that.
Of course, man. We've been in this too long together. We'll be doing this in our retirement home. Which I saw a thing today. It was asking like millennials, what do you plan to do for retirement? And the number one answer for what millennials plan to do for retirement was death. So if that just throws anything out there.
Well, that's most of their retirement plan anymore.
Yes.
Retirement age is the age of death.
So I'm trying to think. There's not a whole lot of news. The next part that I have is if you're a Big Bang Theory fan, like James and I were, whatever. There's so many spinoffs now. Stewart Fails to Save the Multiverse is on HBO. And the second episode was hilarious because they go to a universe where nobody fights. Everyone gets along. And the number one selling DC comic book was Superman and Lex Luthor, best buddies. I just had to give a shout out to that because I would love to read that issue.
Yeah, that would be funny. That would be hilarious. It was a great shout out, I think, in the movie or in the show. It was a funny episode.
It's a cool
I've watched
show.
all three now.
Me and Salman are halfway through the third one. We had to stop to go pass out some random acts of kindness and love today for Tree Manor Day. And it's a good show, but I feel like it's still funny. It's funny. There's something off. I can't quite put my foot on it. I think the actors are doing a great job, but I think none of them are really leading. It's kind of like Grandma's Boy. Remember that movie where it was like all the side characters from all the Adam Sandler films were in one movie together, and something's missing. And I think that's kind of where I'm feeling with this is these are great characters and with scenes, but none of them are really the lead. So I don't know. And I feel like it started a little awkward because I have so many questions. Like, why is it every time they go to a new part of the multiverse, like they don't run into another Stewart, but yet that's how it kicked off.
I mean, the way it kicked off is, another Stewart comes to see him, but it almost seems that every time they go to a new multiverse, they
replace
quantum leap it and inhabit their body in that world.
No, I will take that. Like it's like a quantum leap, like because it kind of reminds me of Sliders too. Is like how I'm feeling.
Well, definitely the way that they like slide through from one universe to the other. At the end of each episode,
and they always arrive like in the same place, same town. That's definitely very backlot. But like I said, it's been fun, but it just feels like it's still kind of trying to find its footing. Don't want to spoil anything, but I did appreciate a certain character's return. So,
yeah. There's been a couple already. It was really cool. It's fun.
All right.
I've had a really fun time with it.
And then my last it's not news. It's just kind of a question for everybody listening, and I would love some listener feedback on this. How are you feeling about I would say the absence of DC TV? Like I was just sitting there looking over some things and thinking about how much DC-based television we have had in the past 10 years and how we have nothing now.
Yeah, after the Arrowverse and the couple of DC shows that they had running on Max, there's nothing. I mean, the only thing we have is Lanterns.
Well, we have Lanterns that's about to premiere, which is great. And we have, Batman Cape Crusader and My Adventures with Superman, which are great. They're both very, very awesome shows.
They aren't any shared universe shows.
Yeah, and but I mean
nothing that has a connective. Nothing like the CW did for a while. Like,
but I mean,
the movies to TV and everything that are supposed to be going together. I mean, we got Creature Commandos season 2 coming, but
but that's next year, kind of in replace of not having like Peacemaker season 3 or Lantern season 2. It's just these like once a year type event, shows.
Or a Harley Quinn. They haven't said that was canceled or
that was
renewed.
That was the last season.
Was it?
They did, yeah. Because they were just trying to wrap up everything, And I think
it did seem that way, yeah.
I mean, we had the Arrowverse, there was Gotham, there was these different cartoons, and then we had just them cranking out the movies. And then it's like we just lost it all. And come on, we had, and then I don't know, we had Titans with Stargirl, we had Doom Patrol, and now it's like nothing. And I don't know, I'm just feeling,
and all the animated movies, like, it's been a couple of years since we really had too many of those. I mean, we get Nightfall coming soon,
and that's why I think we're all super excited for Nightfall, is because it looks like almost like a return to when those films started, when they were adapting comic book storylines. And I don't know, just what are your thoughts, everybody? So,
because the shared animated universe prior was really good, and then the Tomorrowverse was a little,
it just didn't
hit and miss.
Didn't find its it didn't find its footing.
It had some good movies, but ultimately, I think there was too many lacking movies, especially closing in on the finale, where the universe just didn't hold up.
I agree. All right, so what do you want to get into today, James? First, you want to dive into some Lois and Clark talk, or you want to get into some comics?
Let's go with comics, and then we'll talk some Lois and Clark.
So it is the first of the month, as in the first weekend of the new month, and every month we start off by kicking it with some Supergirl for the year of Supergirl. The movies, come out, but the year's not over. And we're looking at the 10-issue run that ran from 1972 to 1974. And I read issues 1 through 5, and James read issues 6 through 10, and we thought we'd kind of break it up like that to kind of just give each other a pitch towards, just like something a little bit different. So I'm pulling these up on my iPad, but hopefully it doesn't die because my children have had it, and they don't know what a charging cord is. So while it loads, I just want to give a shout out. If you go to the Daily Planet's website, I did have a new article that was published on the Daily Planet's website. That was just a think piece that the editor and I were talking about. And I'm always appreciative when Zach enjoys my words and we discuss those. So,
I got to read about half of it. I haven't finished the article. But yeah, I got to read about half of it, and I liked it. It was really good. Talking just positivity, putting positivity into the world and into your life.
It's something that we all struggle with, and like right now, ironically, because I made the joke earlier, I'm not wearing a Superman T-shirt because I'm still wearing what I had on at work today because I didn't get home in time to change. But it's an anti-suicide shirt. It's just a T-shirt that says, "Your life matters, and if you have the time, I'll listen." So just letting people.
Hey, that's a Superman shirt.
Yeah, amen, brother. I also feel like I get to cheat because I have the Superman tattoo on my chest, so it's like, always representing.
Yeah.
But issue 1 of Supergirl, which is hilarious because as I go to my comics and I have them all downloaded on my iPad, guess what's deleted off my iPad, James?
Your Supergirl comics?
Issue number 1 of this.
Oh, issue number 1.
Yes. Which I'm laughing about, but it also makes me very, very frustrated because this is what happens when I let my kids use my stuff. But so Supergirl.
What else are fathers for, right?
Yeah. I had had that conversation. Written by Marv Wolfman, Lynn Wein, and Carrie Bates. It does have backups of Zatanna, which I did not read because we might do a Zatanna special down the road. But this was you got a main Supergirl story with a small Zatanna story. The synopsis for issue 1 is Linda quits her job at KSF TV and goes back to college at Vandre University to study drama. Now, this is something that we touched on a little bit when we were discussing the whole Summer of Supergirl thing.
Yeah,
where they were talking about...
where Connor and John and who was the third one there? Natalie?
Yep.
Yeah. We're talking about Kara's past.
And this first issue is neat setup for, so she shows up back and she's talking about new roommates and stuff that moved in, and Linda, her Supergirl costume is very much of the time. Like, it's some Daisy Dukes type shorts that are just red. It's like she's wearing the trunks and then forgot the rest. And then like more like a, what would you call like the top? It's
like a blue blouse.
Yeah, like a blouse.
With a small S shield on the left side of the chest.
So it looks, I don't want to say it looks homemade, but it does more, it gives off that kind of more vibe. But she shows up and she runs...
Not boots either, little shoes.
Yeah, she's wearing like slippers. This is like a great like Supergirl cosplay costume to like just wear as your everyday attire or something. But she goes to the theater.
I think that would be a fun cosplay to see.
I think it would be. I think it'd be comfortable too.
Right.
And what happens is one of the actors is dead, and Linda makes the comment of like the scene being really great. And then they find out, no, the actor is dead. Not nearly dead, but dead. That's a, Princess Bride reference, because I got to meet, what's his face? Played Wesley.
Gary Ellis.
Yep, thank you. I'm running slow. Quick, let me open my can of spinach. That's a Popeye reference. And if you're asking who's Popeye, I'm too old. But basically...
Popeye the Sailor Man.
James and I have too much fun recording. She tracks down and finds the professor, who's basically jealous of any of these actors that are going to take on where the school is doing this production that he did when he was there. And he made like the role legendary and will allow no one to take over his role. So he is gone psycho. And
killing the men who played the roles he portrayed.
Yeah. I almost kind of wish it was a tie into like Clayface, but it wasn't. The second issue, and I like these because they're all connected in a series but they are all like one-off stories at the same time. So this was a lot of fun, and it's on the app. But the one thing is these are not updated. They're just like scanned in.
Yeah, and you could actually see some of the watermarks and things like that across some of the word bubbles.
And I'm okay with that if that's all the copies you have, because we've talked about before how we wish that some other comics and stuff were on the app that aren't. And it's like, but yet you can find scanned copies online. And I'm like, if there's an issue, just put a scanned copy like this. But issue 2, getting back here, the synopsis says Supergirl takes one of her professors to Kandor to try and cure him of an obscure brain malady. This one was interesting because she has this professor who's like, he is focused. I mean, focused on curing sickle cell anemia. And the issue starts where she has this boyfriend that randomly shows up guy. And they're at the beach and someone kicks sand up at them. And she uses her vision to see that one of the girls is like drowning. But when she goes into it and turns into Supergirl, there's a professor down there that she rescues. And then she's like giving him CPR to save him. But her boyfriend thinks like she's giving him like kissing because, he's insecure in himself. But, Linda has to take care of that. Finds him passed out. The professor learns about his issue, takes him to the fortress with the big key. They go to Kandor, as you would go to Kandor, where Zor-El and Alora greet her, which is kind of weird that they're in Kandor, because this is one of those things where I kind of have issues with Kandor at certain times, because it's like it exists there, and Supergirl can go in and out and be big, but yet they can't. It's not where it is now. We'll talk about that later this month. With, but there's a message they're trying to find of this one scientist, their last known message, and they get out of there as he's starting to grow before he can get out. And I'm trying to find out where she says at the end. They really weren't able to get what they wanted. So it says, I wonder what saved you while they were in Kandor. It's like Alan Norcon's ring or his cure-all. Not sure. And then as they're flying away, she says, I hope Jeff will have cooled off by the time we get back. And then that's the end of the issue. So it kind of leaves you like, okay, what exactly happened? Did he get completely cured or not? So that was issue. No, issue 3 is Supergirl helps a man who has been framed for murder. There's been a murder. And so it's called the Garden of Death. And this issue was really interesting because it helps, like, Supergirl is like investigating this fellow college classmate whose dad's basically like a mob person that's been set up or framed. They're trying to figure it out. And the whole point is, like, they found these coffins on his property and the dagger. But what Supergirl is able to do is use her powers, because the more she tries to help this guy, the more it makes him look guilty. But she notices someone, and with her eyesight and everything, they catch her that this criminal had gotten like plastic surgery to look just like the dude to get away with it. And the girl's able to bust them all up and prove it. But then she loses out on going to the dance with the guy who asked her, because his girlfriend was the one that was sad because of her dad being arrested, that Supergirl proved was innocent. So the last shot is Supergirl like crying outside the dance because she doesn't have no one to go with, because her last boyfriend was a D-bag. I'm pretty sure if Supergirl just walked into the dance, she would own. But I think she wants someone to go with Linda, not just Supergirl.
Right.
Because we all want to be accepted, James. I mean, I accept you for you, James. You're my pal. So.
Oh, you're my buddy too. I accept you.
That's what I'm saying. Long term. And then getting back over here, hold on. It reset. We're on issue 4, right?
Issue number 4.
Yeah. Supergirl actually gives some her powers to a crime boss. This is like a very kind of, the cover looks like a werewolf man in the iron mask. How it is. And this is interesting because, like, this issue, she has a new boyfriend. And this guy thinks he's the smartest dude in the room, kind of thing. He engineers certain things to occur, like natural disasters to cover up crimes. But then when he dives into the pool at the same time as somebody else, he bumps his head on the bottom. Of course, Supergirl saves him, takes him to the doctor, and then when he wakes up, he's kind of playing dumb. But Supergirl has to perform this special surgery. She uses her powers and stuff too, which is really kind of crazy the way this happens. By the way, it's one of those Kryptonian powers you're not exactly sure what's going on. It's almost like she's got some telekinesis going on. But he wakes up plays dumb, but yet remembers everything, that he's really this criminal mastermind, but then he puts on a mask and he goes about robbing and stealing and doing all the same stuff. And then at the end, Supergirl goes to stop him. He kicks her. He fights. She rips up the bags of money in midair. But then this is what's crazy, is how quickly this is resolved in the last page. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels. Maybe 9. The last panel's, the way it's drawn is kind of weird. But I think it's 8 panels. She literally finds him in the air, catches him. He unmasks. She sees it's her boyfriend, takes him straight to jail. And then the next Friday night, all the girls are like, Linda, you sure you don't want to join us for clubbing? And she says, I'll pass this time. I'm not ready to meet someone else. Not just yet. You're like, dang. Much like we've talked about before, it's like Supergirl just can't catch a break. Poor Linda. Like, everything that happens to her sucks.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
I mean, there's a lot of terrible guys around her, that's for sure.
I know. Where you at, James? Where you at? You're not in the comic book, and we weren't.
Yeah, I haven't been able to break through the barrier from the real world into the comic book world, kind of like Superboy Prime.
Prime is so cool right now, but we'll talk about that later this month. So this issue, number 5, is written by Gardner Fox. And it says, Supergirl is kidnapped and taken to another dimension. Out of the issues that I read, this is my least favorite. Because, I mean, it literally starts the devil's brother. And you just see her, like, fighting. And then you turn the page, and it's a bunch of college girls hanging out, scantily clad. And you're like, whoa, calm down, risque comic. Reading a foreign language. Get some really great drawings, though, of Supergirl in her outfit. See, Superman even shows up for a panel.
Nice! Look at that. Her shorts are a little longer than the first issue.
Yeah, but the other dimensional guy looks like Brainiac 5, the Devil. But she goes to their planet to help, and she's not, taken very well, misunderstood kind of thing, like always. But her friend was taken with her, so she has to escape with her college friend and get back. And then once again, that kind of ends abruptly. So this was my least favorite issue of my 5. So
okay.
But all right, James, your turn, taking it over.
Supergirl number 6. Supergirl gets a couple of street gangs to work together.
See, that sounds like a good story.
So it just kind of starts some street gang. Somebody's getting chased, and Supergirl comes out of the sewer and kind of rescues this guy. And he's the leader of this gang called the Hustlers, and was it the Flaming Serpents or something? I think is the other one.
Right.
Well, the Hustlers, they're no longer like doing gang activity.
Flaming Serpents.
Yeah,
it's not as cool as
they're
the
no
Jets and the Sharks, but
right. They don't do bad things anymore. They got into like construction, and so they all now work together for a living.
That sounds kind of cool.
But they have old beef with the Flaming Serpents, and they try to set up this meet to kind of like mend fences between the two gangs. And on the way, the Flaming Serpents are late, but they almost get a box truck dropped off a building onto them. But Supergirl is trying to figure out what's, they're trying. The Flaming Serpents blame the Hustlers for trying to kill them. They go start tearing down the building that the Hustlers have been working on, while Supergirl is trying to figure out what happened and who started or who's responsible for, trying to sabotage the peace between the gangs. And it's the one guy from the Flaming Serpents they call Little Napoleon, and he's the one who he wants to be a general. He wants to just he wants to be in a gang. He wants to fight and everything. So, but Supergirl takes off with him, and that's the end of that issue.
Cool.
This one had a backup for Melba Manton, and I did not read that. I don't even know what that is.
Crazy. Yeah.
All right. But issue 7 is Zatanna teams with Supergirl. So I guess all those backups led to at least something, right?
Yeah.
So Supergirl is they're doing a Vietnam peace rally at the college, and Supergirl has kind of her own bracelet for somebody who is he's actually away in the Peace Corps, and he went off to like the Himalayas. She tells how she met her, well, kind of like her current or a guy she likes. Let me say that, a guy she likes. Talks about how she met him, a parachuting box of supplies, kind of fell off course and landed in his car, and almost caused him to crash. And she rescued him. Guy kind of looks like a young Burt Reynolds. Nice. But then we cut over to Zatanna doing some of her magic, her backwards magic, making a drum beat to a person's heartbeat and a rope wave in the air to replicate his brainwaves. And she's talking about how she met this same guy, Tony Martin is the same guy that both Zatanna and Supergirl have kind of become smitten with. Tony leaves for the Peace Corps, same as he did with Supergirl, or at least Linda. But he left for the Peace Corps, and both Supergirl and Zatanna hear that he's missing, and they both go off to look for him. So they go to the Himalayas, to an old village. You can tell that they wrote this in the 70s here, because she calls these primitive people don't tolerate any outsiders in their village. I mean, just because they live in the hills, I don't think that necessarily makes them like primitives, you know? They're a culture. But there's a boulder that's coming down the side of the mountain towards the city, and Supergirl enters inside the boulder and flies away with it. I think it's funny because of all of the extra stuff, they talk about getting into the boulder and not colliding with it and causing it to explode and break apart, because then all the large chunks of the boulder would destroy the city, the village below.
Makes sense.
She's hailed as a goddess, a hero, and they tell her about Orgox, the demon of the mountain, and how Tony was going to prove that Orgox was just a mortal taking advantage. And so he went off, and he hasn't been seen since. Zatanna uses a tracking spell to try and find him. Supergirl encounters some frozen cavemen that she has a fight with. they're like magically heavy because they drag her down into a cave in the mountains where there's water, and she splashes them and refreezes them. Zatanna climbing the mountain is picked up by a big frozen iceberg. She escapes, but it kind of puts her, unconscious, kind of frozen up on the side of the mountain. Supergirl rescues her with her cape and her heat vision. They both realize that they're looking for Tony, and they come across like a magical snow yeti. You know what? It did this last time. There's one page that won't load. So there's one page page 18. I don't know what it says.
Page 18 is a mystery. That'd be like the worst prank ever, but hilarious in time. Like, do a scan like this, but then leave out like one page.
Yeah, like it won't reload. I tried it earlier.
You said 18.
Yeah, page 18.
Got it.
You got it.
I'm accessing it from. No, wait, that's page 17. There's page 18.
So this is on my tablet. I haven't tried it on my computer yet.
Yeah, I have it on my computer. Basically, it's Supergirl and Zatanna using magic and heat breath heat breath. Gosh, build like a snowman. And then there's the Eskimo guy. I haven't read it all. And then page
19. They got Orgox coming. And Orgox was actually disguising himself as Tony. They kind of don't do anything here. The unimaginable, devastating, mystical power that shatters an entire mountain like a feeble anthill, making it cave in on itself with a thunderous rumble that echoes across several countries. And in the midst of the nightmarish cataclysm, a daring rescue, and Supergirl, Zatanna, and Tony fly off, and that's it. They rescue Tony, and Tony has a new fiance back home, and they are both like, I feel so foolish. All that time, Supergirl and I were rivals for nothing. What a letdown to think Zatanna and I were actually fighting over a man who's already spoken. I'll never understand that. Like, there's a theme here in all of her issues. There's always some guy she's interested in, or some boyfriend who is kind of a piece of crap.
Yeah. Supergirl needs a solid wingman.
Definitely. Supergirl is possessed by Medusa's ghost. Supergirl number 8.
That's pretty cool.
So Supergirl in this one, she is Medusa casts the Medusa curse on Supergirl. Her hair changes into the Gorgon head of snakes, and her gaze, when people look upon her and meet her eyesight, they turn to stone. So Supergirl becomes Medusa. Automatically, the Justice League is going after her. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Batman, and Hawkman are all going after her like she's some raving lunatic. And then that's when Medusa starts speaking to her, letting her know what happens. A guy that she likes, who was actually about to make a move and try and kiss her before she had to run off and rescue an old professor from getting mugged. He is then possessed by Perseus, the spirit of Perseus. Supergirl is possessed by Medusa, and Perseus possesses Mitch, I believe is this guy's name, and he goes after Medusa, Supergirl, with his magical sword and shield, and that with the magical sword he should be able to kill her, which is Medusa's plan: have Supergirl killed by his magical sword, and then Medusa can take over Supergirl's body and become Super Medusa. But Supergirl finds out from the professor where Medusa's tomb likely would reside. So she goes to it, and she brings a stoned Perseus with her. And she gets wrapped up by magical spider webs, so she can't escape. But it was just a trick, and Perseus is not stoned. He uses his magic sword to cut her free, and Medusa goes to reveal herself and turn them both to stone. And Supergirl uses a super clap to cave in the cave, and then her and Perseus are flying off, and he is then unpossessed by Perseus, falling out of the sky, and Supergirl catches him, and he says, "Was I actually flying, Supergirl, and why am I wearing a strange uniform? Have I got a new chapter of Greek mythology to tell you, Mitch?" So, nice little. I think that might actually be the my favorite issue of the 5 that I read here.
I think it's an awesome story. That's one of those type of stories I think would have been a really cool translation for the series. I mean, some tweaks here and there, but just the idea of, Supergirl against magic.
Yeah.
And everything, and then
didn't really see much of that.
Becoming like possessed, so to speak, or turning into Medusa, like that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I liked it. And if you're a fan of Greek mythology, it's just fun to have that connection. Supergirl number 9 is Supergirl is fed up with men, so she becomes an Amazon for a day. As we said, this is kind of a theme every issue that she is having a problem with men.
I mean,
so this one,
men sucked back then. Okay, we all know this.
Back then,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I agree.
A lot of men suck. Okay, I just say it. Like, they don't know how to treat women and be respectful. Okay, it's not gonna bust out into that in this podcast. But I am a very confident, secure man. I can say that. Okay.
Yes, sir. I agree with you on that. The Super Amazon. So there is a man and a woman up on a cliff, and he is trying to make out with her. He says, "Then don't waste time talking." The cliff collapses. Supergirl catches the car and sees that it is her boyfriend Dale in the car with another one. She speeds off, and
I just love how she has a new boyfriend in every comic, but we've never met him before. And then they're like breaking up in the first issue.
They're breaking up in the first 2-3 pages.
Yeah, we just meet this guy, and so we're already like, "Yep, kill that guy." I mean, break up with that guy.
Yeah, and that's it. He said, "So what, Dale? But Dale, only last night you promised me I was the only girl for you." He says, "That was yesterday. Today I was in the mood for a blonde, so I took Bambi for a drive on that cliff."
This sounds like a serial killer in the works.
Yeah, bit of a sociopath there, narcissist. Especially with suit yourself, Linda. It's your loss, not mine. Supergirl decides that she wants to go out on a night patrol to clear her head. She sees a plane in kind of a nosedive, and she decides to save it, and the person is upset. He was performing a stunt. He was practicing a stunt, and she ruined she ruined his stunt, and he says he's been waiting for the weeks for these weather conditions. And he says, women, who needs them? She says, men, who needs them? Then there is this one page. It didn't even stick with me, this one page. Something about, she saves a guy to help him get away from some groupies, and he says, I'm going to reward you with a kiss. Don't faint with gratitude. And she just gets the hell out of there. But then she sees an old ship, an old sailboat, and it's being attacked by sharkmen. And it's a Amazon ship. It has Queen Hippolyta and her daughter Nubia. And Supergirl shows up and helps save the day. But Nubia is injured with kind of sharkmen poison. She's taking... Supergirl flies the ship back to Themyscira, and she's invited to stay, so she never has to see men again. So she goes through, she reads centuries worth of history. She is compared to Diana in terms of strength and competitiveness. She gets her boots and belt and tiara and bracelets, so she is an Amazon. Then she volunteers to go get a Kologi root, something that will help save Nubia. And she flies off to go get that, and she is zapped by some witch doctors who end up stealing her power. She's rescued by a man in a white gorilla suit. They're very superstitious, and he kind of scares them off. But then he says that because he saved her life, that he must protect her, and that she can never leave the island, and that she is his responsibility. And he's very forceful with her, hurting her, grabbing and twisting her arm, all in, the guys to protect her. She waits it out and kind of sneak attacks him and knocks him out, and she is able to take his gorilla uniform and go scare the witch doctors and use their scepters to give her her strength back and return to Themyscira with the Kolji root. And she decides that that it feels great to be back in action, and she'll give men another chance after all. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting, her coming up against magic again, it taking her powers. Some interesting bits there. But and then of course being on Themyscira with Hippolyta and Nubia, I didn't know that Nubia actually went back this far.
Yep. I was surprised myself. I was like, oh wow. Well, I feel dumb.
Right? I just thought she was more of a modern character, but it's great to see that. I love to see characters going back further than I know of.
I love getting proved wrong.
Mm-hmm. Supergirl must save Prez from 3 assassination attempts, including one by her. So from school, she's watching a. They call him Prez. I'm not sure who he is. He's
Prez.
He's Prez, yeah. I don't know if that's supposed to be president of something.
No, he's probably just Prez.
Well, somebody tries to assassinate him. She sees from school during his shaking hands and everything that somebody has a gun up his sleeve. And she stops him from getting assassinated and killed. And she rescues him. So she is, kind of being by his side, talking with him at the moment. And the man repairs a watch for a kid. Says, this is my daddy's watch. It stopped when he died in Vietnam, and no one could fix it. And he got it ticking again. So Supergirl tells him to be careful and flies away, kind of watching from afar. And they him and his caravan drive away, and they go to a auction of rare antique clocks. And he's pretty excited to see the whole thing. So he goes to see, he's looking around at the clocks. He noticed one that the hands seem to be stuck on. And Supergirl quickly snatches the clock, takes it, flies it out through the roof, and throws it into the sky as it explodes. Thwarted a second attempt on his life. And then at that moment, in watching a broadcast in a secret lab, there is Hepzibah. Says some guy is telling her to perform some evil magic, and stabs a needle through a Supergirl doll and orders Supergirl to kill Prez. And they're mixing wizardry and science. Either way, Supergirl takes Prez up to a high point of a building, a skyscraper, and she says, "It's tearing at my brain, commanding me to kill you." But she doesn't. She's flying. She's flying away from the building, and she was able to use her X-ray vision and home in on where the radar beam was coming from that was influencing her mind. She was able to stop it, destroy it, and save the day.
Because that's what she does.
Yeah.
She saves
and that's
the day.
Right. That's the first story in this. In the second story, there is Supergirl, her brother's keeper. So Supergirl is she's looking at an experiment, and she saves the day. Uses her cape to smother an explosion, so no harm is done. But during that time, the scientist she was with, it was staged. He caused the explosion to kind of distract her. He could use a super laser and get microscopic blueprint, get her chromosomes, try to recreate her powers. And then we get her flying around with Super Lad. And he says that he is her brother, that he is exactly like her, except a male. And he super speed robs a bank. Supergirl heat visions it out of his hands. He tries to blow her away. He wants to get his money. And he gets the money after he kind of like knocks her down into a fissure. She comes out and she follows a money trail that Super Lad took all the way back to the scientist who zapped Supergirl in the beginning. But at that moment, he gets rid of himself. Because he wasn't, he was made. He wasn't necessarily, he was a part of her. So he kind of ended it himself. And that's it, Like, she doesn't take the man off to jail or anything. So Super Lad couldn't choose between his inventor or his genetic twin, so he chose to annihilate himself. He manufactured synthetic life, but you couldn't manufacture evil. And that's the end.
That's very brave. All right, like I said, that was a very unique, interesting run. I mean, it's like we have this ongoing narrative of her in college that we quickly, all of a sudden, abandon, and then it comes these adventure stories, and it's over. I don't know if it's because they decided that it was time to end. I mean, or what changed to end this run and recalibrate, but it's interesting. All right, now we're going to shift into some other things real quick. Always, as I'm sitting here, I was running through to see if I could find any extra news. Did find this little bit that I didn't realize that not only did David and Millie both win awards at the Choice Awards. Best superhero movie was Superman, and best actress in a superhero series, limited series, or made for TV movie, Danielle Brooks for Peacemaker. And I thought that was pretty awesome. So, all right. Now we're going to get into Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Season 1, Episode 4, I'm Looking Through You. Superman is feeling profoundly uncomfortable becoming a celebrity while there is a wave of crime apparently committed by an invisible man. James, as this episode opened, did you notice a cameo in the crowd by someone we've actually had on the show before?
No. Who's in the crowd?
Legendary DC's editor, Mike Carlin.
Oh, nice.
When they're doing their kind of superhero or Superman Day thing.
Yeah, like giving him like the key to the city or something. Or just the honor or whatever.
Yep. And I don't know if it was you or if it was just me that, like, when this scene happened, like, we know Lex, excuse me, is behind, some things going on. I thought they were using, like, flash cameras or something, or the light to trigger his mind, to make him feel awkward. But I think that was just him feeling awkward about, the attention. Because in this, there's a guy trying to be his agent. We have Luthor back. This is the first time in the series that he has his new cape that he would go on his costume, where the cape's attached differently. That would be for the rest of the series. We have the bidding war for dates with Superman. James, you know what that's like. Women just bidding and throwing money and trying to get a date with you. So.
Oh, you know it.
You probably felt right at home. And then, once again, I have a weird thing about certain characters in cowboy boots. So it was weird seeing Lex Luthor in cowboy boots.
Yeah, but it's John Shea, so, even when he's monologuing to himself or his dog.
and there's a nod to Cleveland wants Superman as their in their city. I thought that was really neat. Shout out to Cleveland. But there's another actor in here, James. Did you see who it was? A young actor that we have talked about many of times on our other podcast.
Bobby.
A young Jim Beaver, who would
later
go on to be on Supernatural and then later The Boys. There is a connection with some of the producers on their show that we know.
Kripke and
but what's his face? Robert Singer.
That's the other one.
Yeah, starts on here. It's an interesting connective tissue. But I was like, oh my god, it's Jim Beaver. But what's even great about Jim Beaver being on here is one, Jim Beaver, please watch your name. Make sure Buc-ee's doesn't come after you. Number two is Jim Beaver is like a scholarly, world-renowned aficionado on George Reeves.
Oh, really?
Like he has been working on a bio, like an in-depth bio on George Reeves for a long time. I don't remember what podcast it was. I listened to him talk about it because I listened to too many Superman stuff. And he was actually a technical advisor on Hollywoodland.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I just want to talk to him, not about being Bobby or anything like that, but like George. Can we just talk about George?
But we have him in here, and then we've got guest star of Leslie Jordan.
He's one of those actors, like as a '90s kid, that you would just know, but you wouldn't.
Oh, absolutely.
And the guy, I didn't realize this. The guy who plays Lex's Arab assistant. That's the guy. I'm like, I don't want to butcher his name. But that's Yinsen from Iron Man, who helps Tony in the cave.
Oh wow! Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, there's interesting things that you catch when you go back. Like, there'll be an episode coming up of Lois and Clark with another guest that we've actually had on the podcast. So it says, let's see here. Let's see. Oh, so Leslie Jordan will be back to play another character in the second season. So we'll have to keep our eyes out for that.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I always like Leslie Jordan. He's just so funny.
Yes. But I enjoyed this as I'm enjoying the rewatch of this series. I haven't watched the whole thing through in a long time.
Long time.
And it's one of those things because even though I had it and stuff, a lot of it was just time and trying to keep up on other things. And I guess it is kind of like, since we're slowed down with so much new DC TV, so I can go back and appreciate some of the older DC TV that I haven't got a chance to rewatch. Like I do want to do a rewatch of Supergirl. Or not Supergirl, of Stargirl with Sayla.
Oh yeah.
This episode features the scene of Superman busting through the wall that's in the intro. We'll see that there's so much cool Superman merchandise, and that Lois Lane has Superman PJs.
Yep. And I love that his parents have so much. They've bought a number of pieces of Superman merchandise.
If I had to cast like the Kents as far as the Kents as a couple together, these are the best. Just not just their dynamic together, but then their dynamic with their son is just the best.
Oh yeah, yeah. Both the characters. I love both the actors. The way they work, mother and son, father and son. They do a really good job, and they're good on their own. In this episode, we've got Superman talking to Lois and Alan, the Invisible Man, and he's in Clark's apartment, and he answers the phone, and it's his mom on the line. And the way that she just looks like, what conversation did I just have with Clark? I know that's him, and
what I think is interesting is we have, when they're doing the betting for dates with Superman and everything and Lex Luthor, we have Cat Grant there as well in a very revealing dress. And I think it's interesting because just seeing, they try to remember how much she was used in the first season. It's just interesting to go back and watch as we know that she won't make it to the second season.
Right.
So
yeah, I I liked her interaction there with Lois.
Oh yeah. The next episode is Requiem for a Superhero, which I remember this episode when it aired because I remember talking about the end of this episode the next day at the bus stop.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And
the way he's just taking those punches.
So this is basically the premise for this episode is Clark and Lois are made partners and sent to investigate an upcoming boxing competition. They discover that several of the contenders have illegal bionic parts built by Dr. Sam Lane, Lois's father. All right. So first of all, it starts off the episode with Clark playing baseball, and he's kind of playing it by himself. And this is what's interesting. Like I said, Dr. Sam Lane. We have not switched over to General Sam Lane yet. Now, my question for you, James, was General Lane a Jeff Johns concept? Because the next time we see live action Sam Lane is in Smallville. Because I don't even think
and he's a general by then.
Yeah, he doesn't appear in the animated series or anything.
All right. Well, we were reading some Superman, and we were reading some 90s Superman post. And in that, Sam Lane was retired from what he did. But was he a general? Was he in the military then?
Right. I need to quick, James, use that handy dandy thing called the internet. Now what's interesting is this is the only episode in which Sam Lane is played by Dennis Ardent. In all subsequent appearances, he was played by Harv Presnell, which actually he looked older when, or is it Harvey? I don't know because it's with an E. People spelling their names different. They actually make him look much older when he appears next time.
Okay, so post-crisis, following Crisis on Infinite Earth, Sam was reimagined as a hard-bitten and outspoken U.S. Army general with an awkward relationship with his daughters. It was explained that Lane had wanted his eldest child to be a boy, blah blah blah. This version first appeared in The Adventures of Superman 424 in January of 1987.
So, who wrote that? Does it say?
It does not say who wrote that.
Okay, so basically, which is interesting because, like we've talked about multiple times, is this show was built so much off of the change, making it more like the reboot post-crisis comics, but yet with Sam Lane, we've stepped backwards. Interesting. But here's a deep cut that I did not catch before, but I definitely caught this time after last summer, is the boxing promoter is named Max Minkin. Max Minkin is one of the Daily Planet reporters from Superman the musical, which I know all too well.
Ooh, nice. That issue was written by Marv Wolfman.
Nice. Good job, Marv. So this would be the first time there is a Max Minkin in live action. The next time we get a live action Max Minkin is in the pilot for Superman and Lois, when they're firing people from the Daily Planet in the pilot episode.
Oh, is that the guy who comes out yelling?
Yep.
Nice.
I think that's an awesome deep cut. But he's, the boxing promoter that's partnered, we find out, with Lex. Sam Lane's putting bionic parts in these boxers. We found out that Lex is the third richest man at over $20 billion. He's playing darts on Superman. But we do get the end of the episode when they have the boxers, the robots come out and they're jumped, and Superman goes to save Lois. Because of timing and everything, Lex has it orchestrated, so he's the one that actually saves Lois by pulling a gun and shooting them. Feels like a very Michael Rosenbaum Lex thing to do. And then Superman gets in the ring with a big bully boxer, which is probably my favorite part of the episode, as this big bully boxer is takes a couple shots on Superman and hits him and knocks him down. Then Superman just flicks him with his finger and takes him out.
And he's all tangled up in the ropes and everything. It's really funny.
The one thing I did like in this is we have the Daily Planet poker game, and everyone's playing, and Clark's still trying to lose, even though he could win. So this is, and like I said, the suit looks great right here in this episode, but I'm just really enjoying rewatching this because, as good as the writing and everything is, it's much more of a simpler show and a simpler time in television, like network television and everything. And it feels kind of refreshing at the same time.
Yeah, that the cast kind of grows together, but it's pretty episodic. There's just the characters carry over with one another, their experiences that they can reference, but other than that, it's very episodic television.
Hey, that's what I got for this episode. I do want to throw something out to all these listeners out there. James and I, because we've really been focusing on Kara this year, we did kick off the year reading, being Supergirl. And then we did cover some Convergence books. We just did them both. But later in the year, we're supposed to be reading the Matrix Superman or Supergirl. I can't talk anymore. James, why do you let me talk so much? We're supposed to be reading the Matrix-based Supergirl comics. And my question is to everyone, should we? Or should we hold off for another time and just focus on Kara this year? Even though in October we're supposed to be reading the Peter David Supergirl run, because we have been doing a lot of Supergirl. But I just want to throw that out there for what people think, because we definitely wanted to do Kara up front as we got ready for the movie. But thanks for joining us. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever people call it. Wherever you get your social medias, we'll be there too. We have a $1 Patreon where we do our extra show of Supernatural Report that we'll finish one day, probably from another dimension. We also do movie commentaries and episode commentaries and discussions and specials over there. So check that out and let us know. From me and James, we'd like to say thank you for listening. James, any final thoughts?
No, not today. It's late. Just don't have anything extra going on.
All right, there we go. Just remember,
look up in the sky!
Thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going. And in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.